Before you start, a good trick to note here is to always make sure you have unravelled some yarn from your ball. This will help you to feed the yarn through your fingers evenly and make your chain stitches all the same size and tension. The next tip to note is to hold the base of the slip knot between your middle finger and your thumb. It's much easier to make crochet stitches if you have something to hold on to. If you're new to crochet, you may not have heard the term yarn over hook. Some people merely say yo, others say yo. They all mean the same thing. To make a chain stitch, put your yarn at the back of your hook and move it to the front of your crochet hook by bringing it over the top of the hook. This is the yarn over hook part of the stitch, and as it's used in just about every crochet stitch you will come across, it's a pretty handy thing to remember. Catch the yarn in the barb of your crochet hook. That's the hook part. Bring the whole hook backwards to pull the yarn through the loop already on your crochet hook. You should now have a new loop on your hook and the previous loop is sitting below it. We simply keep doing the same thing again and again to make more chain stitches. With your yarn at the back of your crochet hook, move it to the front of your hook by bringing it over the top. This action is also called yarn over hook. Catch the yarn with the hook and move it backwards to pull the yarn through the loop already on the crochet hook. Let's do a few more. Yarn over hook. Catch the yarn with your hook. Pull the hook backwards and through the loop to make a new loop. Yarn over hook. Catch the yarn with your hook. Pull the hook backwards and through the loop to make a new loop. If you watch what I am doing, you will see that I turn the hook a little bit to pull the yarn through the loop already on the hook. It's okay to wiggle your hook about a bit. It's really all about finding the easiest way for you to bring the yarn through the loop on the hook. I also do two other things that keep my chains even and easy to work with. I make sure I don't pull the loop on the hook too tight. The thickness of the crochet hook pole is what determines the size of the chain. You should always be able to easily move your loop along the pole. If you have to push and tug your loop, you're pulling it too tightly. The second thing I do to keep my chain stitches even is to keep moving my fingers up to hold the base of each stitch as it is made. You can now keep making chain after chain. As the yarn you pulled from the ball earlier is used up, make sure to stop for a moment to pull more yarn from the ball. This helps to keep your tension even. If you have to tug more yarn from your ball and crochet at the same time, it's much harder to keep your stitches the same size. There's one last thing to show you, how to count how many chain stitches you have. When a pattern asks you to make 10 chain stitches and you're suddenly interrupted and put your work down and come back to it later, how do you know how many chain stitches you have made? For that matter, where do you start counting from? When a pattern asks for 10 chain stitches, does that include the slip knot at the start of your work and the stitch loop on the crochet hook? Let's say my pattern has asked me to make 10 chain stitches. Well, I've been a bit too enthusiastic and I've made too many. Let's fix that. Here is the slip knot where I began. I don't count the slip knot. I do count the next 10 chain stitches like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As you can see, I have a few more than 10 stitches. So I will place my finger on the 10th stitch and undo those extra stitches. Now I have 10 stitches and a loop above the 10th stitch. I will put my hook back through the loop, pull the yarn so that the loop is sitting nicely on the crochet hook, and check once more that I do indeed have the 10 stitches my pattern has asked for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just as I didn't count the slip knot at the bottom, I also don't count the loop on the hook. When a pattern tells you to make 10 chain stitches, they are asking you for 10 complete stitches. The loop on the hook is a stitch waiting to happen. It hasn't been completed yet, so it isn't counted. This loop is also known as the working loop. That's all there is to it. You're all set to make as many chain stitches as you want.